Morning, Adam.
How are you?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing just fine. And actually, my client and I talked. This won't take too long. Are we going to do closing arguments verbally? Do you want to do written arguments? Because I think last time you and I did this, I know he released a written decision.
Yeah, I mean, I'm prepared to do verbal closing. I don't think it's going to take all that long. So
Good morning.
morning, Judge.
Hey, Judge.
Right. So I don't know about you guys, but yesterday we had 91 in Ashland.
91 degrees?
Yeah.
We had 82 here.
Yeah, it wasn't 91 in the cities. I think it was high 70s.
So what's the temperature where you were at, Reven?
I think it was low 70s because we had a lot of rain
I
yesterday.
can't hear any of them.
Oh, yeah. The one the furthest away from Lake Superior's got the coolest temperature. So what does that say, huh? Okay. So where are you at in Indiana?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. I have a friend who lives down there. Are
Pretty
you a
nice.
Pacers fan?
I am not, no.
Are you a Bucks fan?
I don't keep up too much with the NBA. I like college sports more.
Oh, okay.
I still can't.
Is Ashley going to make it today?
Sorry, what's that, Your Honor?
I believe she's going to make it, Your Honor.
Okay. Wait a couple minutes. Then.
Can you hear us?
Yes. How are
Okay.
you, Miss Merrill?
Good. We're having a little difficulties. We couldn't hear nothing.
Okay, are we all here?
Believe so, Your Honor.
Read the case, please.
The case today is in the interest of the St. Croix Chippewa Indians of Wisconsin versus Raven Emery. Case number 20-CB-211. Presiding today is the Honorable Judge Stephen Woolley. The appearances for the record, Your Honor, are federal attorneys Ashley Duffy, Andrew Adams, and Leah Jers. And with the defendant Raven Emery, her attorney Adam Benson.
Good morning, everybody. If we adjourned yesterday, the tribe has indicated that they had presented their case in chief. And it is now time for the defendant to respondent to present their case. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Benson to proceed. I just have a quick question: is how long do we think we're going to go today?
A lot shorter than I had anticipated yesterday, Your Honor. I don't know what kind of cross-examination Attorney Adams will have, but I'll try to be fairly brief. My client and I spoke, and we kind of narrowed down what we wanted to go over. So we might not be here any more than an hour.
Because I was thinking if we're going to go past 1 o'clock, I'd like to take a break about 1.
I don't think we'll go past 1.
All right. Mr. Adams, do you have a comment on that?
No, Your Honor, I don't anticipate it'll take a long time either.
All right. Hey, Mr. Benson,
Call Raven Emery, Your Honor.
swear to witness, please.
Okay, Raven, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
One moment, Mr. Benson.
Thank you. And Ms. Raven, I know we did some of this yesterday, but please state your full name for the record.
Raven Mercedes Emery
And where do you reside, Miss Emery?
in Fishers, Indiana.
Okay. And are you employed there?
Yes, by youth
And-
villages.
I'm sorry, what's that?
By youth villages.
Okay. And what do you do at youth villages?
I'm in social work, so I help stabilize children within their families.
Okay. And how long have you worked there?
Almost a year and a half.
Okay. And how long have you been worked in social work altogether?
About a year and a half.
Okay. You attended Ohio State University?
Yes, I did.
And what were the approximate dates that you attended that institution?
It would be August 2013 to May 2018.
And then you went directly into this job at youth villages?
I did not. I moved to Indianapolis and I worked at RCI.
Okay. So, and what's RCI?
It is a travel exchange company. I was just in the call center.
Okay. Now, in 2013, you applied to higher education with the St. Croix tribe,
Yes.
and you did receive monies from them, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I got to find the right exhibits here. And then you also received some additional monies towards your education. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'd like to take you to what's been marked Exhibit 13, if you remember that yesterday. And I don't know if Mr. Adams wants to bring that up or not, but we can go off of.
Yeah, I can bring it up.
And actually, while that's up, I'll step back. So, so when you were at Ohio State, you decided you needed additional help with your tuition. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then who did you ask for help with that?
I asked my dad.
Okay. And your dad is Dwayne Emery?
Yes, he is.
Did you ask Leva Ustigoff?
I did not.
Okay. Did you ever discuss your issues concerning tuition with Leva Ustagoff?
No.
He, as identified yesterday, he is your cousin, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but it's your testimony, sworn testimony, that you never discussed your tuition with him.
No, I never did that.
Okay. So when you asked your father for help, do you know what he did?
Um,
What's that?
I did not. He was
Okay.
just asking for information.
Well, let me go to exhibit number 13 then. If you recall, that's a check to you for $3,000 from the St. Croix Tribal Council BIA programs for your study abroad program. And did you ever personally receive that check?
Not mine.
Okay. In fact, it says Dwayne picked it up, doesn't it?
Yes.
And again, we've determined or you've testified that Dwayne is your father.
Yes.
And what I'm looking for was, oh, I'm sorry, would be exhibit 14. That is the canceled check, and that is not your signature on the back, is it?
No, that is my dad's.
Okay. And is that a Dwayne Emery, or was he signing your name?
It looks like you put D. Emery.
Okay. And then let's move on to exhibit number 15. It's a check in the amount of $6,625.59 made out to you. Did you ever personally receive that check?
No, I did not.
And on the second page, it says it's a donation, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right. And if you look at exhibit 16, the canceled check, whose signature is that on the endorsement?
That is my dad's.
Okay. So you didn't personally receive that check?
I did not.
Okay. Moving on to exhibit number 17. It's a check in the amount of $7,109.50.
Yes.
And did you ever personally receive that check?
No, I did not.
Okay. But on the third page, there's an email from you to Penny Till.
Yes.
And it's also CC. It says Dwayne E. at St. Croix Tribal Center.com. So were you asked to send that information to Ms. Till?
Yes, I was asked by my. So.
Okay. So, and it was your understanding you were asking for help with tuition?
Yes.
Okay. And then we look at exhibit 18, that check went directly to Ohio State, didn't it?
It did. Yes.
Looking at exhibit 19, another check for $7,109.50. And did you personally make that request?
I think that's of the same tuition.
Okay, well, it's the check date is different than the last one. This one's dated February 10th, and the other one was dated January 24th. So
the total, it's like 14,000 for that semester.
okay, and did you personally make that request to anybody at the tribe?
To my dad, who is
Okay. Oh, that's right. He was working in housing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but you didn't make a request to anyone in education at the tribe personally,
No,
and you didn't make a request to Leva Ustagoff.
I did not know.
And again, that check was sent directly to Ohio State University, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then maybe we can shorten this up even more. I'm looking at exhibits 21 and 23. Those are checks in the amount of $7,337.40, right?
Yes.
And did you personally make a request of anyone in higher education, anyone other than your father that worked for the tribe? Did you make a request for these funds?
No.
But you do know that they were applied to your tuition.
Yes.
Then Exhibit 25 and 27 are checks in the amount of $7,342.40. First one's dated January 5th, 2018. The other one's dated January 19th, 2018. They're made out to you. Did you ever personally receive those checks?
I did not personally.
Okay. And did you make a request of anyone other than your father for help with tuition?
No,
Nobody that works at the tribe, whether in education or in any capacity at the tribe, you did not ask them for financial assistance.
no, just the test.
And that would apply to any of these exhibits you've reviewed today.
Yes,
And when did you graduate from Ohio State?
May 2018.
And do you have one or more degrees, or what did you graduate with?
I just have one degree in psychology.
Okay. And then did you do some future training or post-college training to become a social worker?
Yeah, on the job.
That's it, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Mr. Adams?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Miss Emery, are you in your current work as a social worker, are you licensed by like the state of Indiana or something like that?
I'm not like licensed like in counseling or anything, but I just have a family interventionist specialist title.
Okay. And so with it appears, Miss Emery, that in 20, let's see, like in 2015, you received this 2,500 from the St. Croix tribal government for or like it was sent to Ohio State on your behalf, the 2,500, and this is exhibit 11, and then there is the exhibit 13, where it's the check that's made out to you directly for the study abroad.
Mhm.
Do you recall before 2015 if you received higher education assistance from the tribal government for your studies at Ohio State?
Yes, I received some amounts through talking with Karen Washington.
Okay. And then do you recall if you, after the study abroad check for 3,000, did you receive any other assistance from the tribe's higher education department?
I don't recall if I did.
Okay. And then it looks like you began receiving some assistance from the St. Croix Casino in 2015. And would it be fair to say that higher education assistance like continued until you finished your studies and graduated at Ohio State?
I had thought so, but I wasn't completely sure based on these checks now.
Okay. And so Miss Emery, just to confirm, like you just testified based on questions that your attorney was asking you that you never received this check for $6,625.59 from the casino, and you did not receive the check for $3,000 from the tribal government related to the study abroad that your dad had taken delivery of those checks. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. But just to confirm, you did go on the study abroad semester, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So do you recall how the expenses related to the study abroad were ultimately paid for?
Yes, my dad deposited the checks into my account and then I paid through that way.
Okay. So I'm assuming your dad picked up the checks, he deposited them into your checking account, and then you made sure that the study abroad expenses or bills related to it were paid?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall, so this, just bear with me for a second. So in this budget, and just to confirm, I know I asked you this question yesterday, but just to confirm, like you crafted this budget for the study abroad, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And so, and it looked, and so from my review of the documents, this check from the casino covered your entire projected budget for the study abroad, but then you also received 3,000 from the tribe's higher education department, and I'm just kind of curious. The extra 3,000. So my reading of it is that you got a total of $9,625.59 related to the study abroad. Would it be fair to say that you received in total from the tribal government and from the casino a total of $9,625.59 towards the study abroad?
Yes, based on the evidence, yes.
Okay. And did you have expenses that were above and beyond the $6,625.59 related to the study abroad?
Yes, I used it for more additional excursions while studying abroad.
Okay. So the additional excursions were outside of what you had projected though for your budget, correct?
Yes, out of the original budget.
Okay. And when the tribe's education department, when they gave you the 3,000 for the study abroad, were there any type of like instructions or requirements in terms of providing receipts for what you spent the 3,000 on?
No,
Okay. And did anyone at the casino like ask you to provide receipts for what you spent the $6,625 on?
no, just the other 2 pages. I didn't know
Okay.
it was a casino.
Okay. And so did you keep your own kind of accounting of what, like you spent the 9,000 600 and 50 or $25 on by chance?
I did, but I don't have access to that bank account anymore.
Okay. Okay. Do you recall if you spent the entire 9,625 on study abroad related expenses, or did you have like funds that were extra, that were above and beyond what you spent on the study abroad?
I can't recall. I know it was pretty close to the 9,000 at the very least.
Okay. And Miss Emery, so you've testified that you the only people that you spoke to connected with the tribe when it came to seeking assistance for college expenses were Karen Washington and your dad, Dwayne Emery, correct?
And technically Penny Hill.
Okay. And so, and you've also testified that you didn't really you didn't like realize that the money was coming from the casino, but in this this email that was that's marked as Exhibit 17. I mean, it clearly shows that you're communicating with, Penny Till. And at the time, at the time that you sent this email, did you realize that Penny was Dino's assistant?
No, I did not.
Okay. Did you know who Penny Till was at all? Like, have you ever met her before?
I think I have met her before. I can't put a face to her name right now. But I knew my dad was in contact with Penny.
Okay. And did it did it strike you as odd, or were you surprised that your dad was having you speak with someone at the casino as opposed to someone from the higher education department for the tribe?
Later on, yes, it surprised me because when I did this, it was all copy and paste, so I didn't even check who I was really sending it to. I just knew it was Penny.
Okay. And at the time at the time that like you were at Ohio State, what position did your dad have with the tribe?
He worked for the housing department.
Okay. Did your dad ever mention like also being on the Economic Development Corporation board for the tribe?
That rings a bell, but I wasn't paying too much attention to what my dad was doing.
Okay. And did it, so when you received this check, or it's your testimony that you never took physical custody of this check, correct? The 6625 for the study abroad that came from the casino?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you never saw this check before it was deposited in your account?
No, I didn't.
Okay, did you ever see the check after it was deposited into your account, like say on a bank statement, or did your dad provide you like a copy of the check at all?
No, he didn't provide me a copy of the check at all.
Okay, so the first time that you saw a copy of this check was as part of this lawsuit?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know if like when you would speak to your dad and ask him for help when it came to college expenses, did your dad ever send any checks directly to Ohio State, like on your behalf, like say from his own personal checking account?
I can't recall. I thought he would, but
Okay. So essentially, like your testimony is that you were asking, so when you strike that, so when you were asking your dad for help, was it kind of your assumption or understanding that you were asking him as your dad, or as Dwayne Emery, who is the housing director for the tribe?
I was asking my father for help.
Okay, so you were asking kind of like in his personal capacity.
Yes.
Okay. And So when you realized, Miss Emery, that these checks were coming from the casino, did it come as a surprise, or did you like voice any concerns to your dad about these payments?
It came as a complete surprise, and he was the first person I talked to after the NOB was released.
Okay, and what did your dad say to you about your name appearing in the NOB?
He made it seem like it should have been a mistake on the tribe's behalf.
A mistake in terms of like the payments being made on your behalf?
Yeah, and that they were coming out of the casino, and he said something along the lines like it shouldn't have came out of the casino.
Okay. But I mean, but your dad is also asking you to, send messages with your information to someone who works at the casino, correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, it would be fair to say that, I mean, it wasn't a mistake if you're providing your like student ID number and the information where the checks could be sent to at Ohio State on your behalf, correct?
I suppose so, yes.
And what in the times that you've spoken with your dad, has he ever provided, like, say, like a tribal council resolution that gave authority to the casino or anybody else to pay above and beyond what the tribe had set in terms of tuition assistance, for you? So if I could state it in another way, has your dad ever provided proof that you should be treated as an exception to the rules that the tribe had at the time?
No, he didn't act like I should be treated as an exception. He made it seem like everybody else had the same access.
Okay, so did he tell you that other tribal members had access to like amounts of tuition assistance that were above and beyond what the tribe had set as rules?
It sounded like that. I didn't know what the rules were, but it just sounded like all you had to do is also ask for assistance.
Okay. And I'm not trying to belabor the point, but you did know at least the rules of the higher education department, right? Because Karen Washington had provided you with copies of like the application materials and the policies that related to the application materials.
Yes.
Okay. And was there any particular reason why, like, say, so, well, let me take a step back. So in 2015, the casino is providing payments to Ohio State, I believe, or hold on, I don't want to. So I'm sorry, strike that. So in 2017, the casino is now, like, starting with exhibit 17, the casino is making essentially, like, covering your semester expenses, correct? Like the full is it 14,000 a semester?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And so do you recall if when you're seeking assistance from the tribe's higher education department, do you have to apply for assistance on on an annual basis? Like, did you have to apply on an annual basis or just once when you got accepted to Ohio State?
It was the once, but then I think I provided my tuition statement and grades.
Okay,
And
so, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I continue to do that at this time too.
Okay, so in 2017, you continued to provide like your Ohio State tuition statements to higher ed?
It wasn't to higher ed, it was to my dad because he said he would get it to higher ed.
Okay, all right. But before that, you were providing the statements directly to Karen Washington?
Yes, because she would email me about it.
Okay, so did she stop emailing you to ask for those in 2017?
Yes.
Okay, any particular, like, were you told any particular reason why she stopped asking for them, or did you ask, you know, like reach out to her yourself?
No, I did not.
Okay. And so then your dad started asking for the statements so that he could, like, what was he telling you that he was going to submit them to Karen, or he was just going to get them taken care of?
He was going to get them taken care of.
Okay. And I mean, did he ever tell you that he was going to provide like his own personal funds to cover them, or that did he? Yeah, I guess let me stick with that. Like, when he was asking for your statements, did he ever tell you that that he was going to pay for the statements?
No, he never gave me any particular information on who was paying for them.
Okay. Did he ever tell you that he was going to have the like someone at the tribe take care of the statements?
No.
Okay. So he never gave you any type of assurance of where the funds were going to come from?
Not at all.
Okay. And so I would assume that then you were getting some type of like confirmation from Ohio State that your tuition was paid for?
Yes, I would get emails of when a part of it was paid for.
Okay, and would Ohio State tell you where the funds were coming from, or would it just say that the tuition bills had been paid in full?
Just that the tuition bills had been paid in full.
Okay. Okay. So Miss Emery, like at any point did, like, during, say, like starting with like when the first check from the casino arrives for the study abroad in 2015, you know, from that point to when you graduate from Ohio State, did you ever have a sense that you felt like you were receiving any type of preferential treatment?
I wasn't made to believe that, no.
Okay. I mean, did you ever feel that way yourself?
At times, and then I would ask my dad about it. And like I said, he would allude to the fact that other people were getting assistance.
Okay. And I guess how do you feel today about your name being in the, like, the notice of violation and also the settlement agreement that the tribe entered into with the National Indian Gaming Commission?
It's frustrating, but I see where people are coming from. I'm just frustrated in the fact that my name is named just because I had no idea that this is what was happening.
Okay. And have you had any conversations with Leva Ustagoff since the NOV or the settlement agreement have like come out and become public documents? Have you had any conversations with him about your name appearing in those documents?
No, the only person I've talked to about it is my dad.
Okay, have you had any conversations with anybody else about your name appearing in the NOV or the settlement agreement?
It would just be brothers and sisters and an old high school teacher, but no one else that was named inside the NOV.
Okay. With that, Your Honor, I don't have any further cross-examination questions for Ms. Emery.
Mr. Benson, do you have any questions along the lines of Mr. Adams' questions for you?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Emery, you may step down as a witness. Mr. Benson, do you have anything else you want to present to the court?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Are the parties prepared to make their closing argument?
Your Honor, if I may, I am, but I have a proposal or a motion. At the beginning of the trial yesterday, Attorney Adams said they were going to be asking for in excess of $50,000. Having reviewed the exhibits of the repayment to be sought and these checks, as a matter of convenience, and I'm again assuming attorney's fees are included, I would suggest written closing arguments so that the numbers are firm. We're not guessing what those numbers are. If Attorney Adams is asking for attorney's fees, I would be asking to be able to see an itemized statement for this case. So if I'm to make an argument as to the validity or worthiness of those fees, I don't begrudge an attorney their attorney's fees, but would want to make sure that if they're asking my client to pay those attorney's fees, that let's see what we're paying for in any event. My proposal would be Mr. Adams submit a closing argument with the numbers of the monies they're seeking. I would get a period of time to respond to that, and then Mr. Adams would get one last chance to reply to my response.
Mr. Adams?
Well, I mean, it almost sounds like it sounds like what Attorney Benson is asking for is post-trial briefing. And I think that's a different, I'm prepared to provide a verbal closing. And if Attorney Benson essentially wants like post-trial briefing done to like help the court, I guess, like focus in on issues, I don't necessarily object to that, but I think that's got to be the consideration that the court takes under consideration. And I would be curious to know if it's just based on the factual record, or if like legal arguments are going to be made concerning, what the court has heard, up to this point.
Mr. Benson, do you have a response to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would expect that Attorney Adams would make his legal argument on the evidence he's put in. And based on that, these checks should be attributed to my client. And then in addition to that, with attorney's fees, he's going to come up with a number in excess of $50,000. And instead of me sitting here running a calculator during oral argument, if it's a number I can see, a number that the court can see, then I can make my legal reply as to my opinion of the checks. Certainly, if the court's going to award attorney's fees could be a separate post-trial issue. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But how he's going to get to 50,000, I'm not sure. Just want to see the numbers. I would get to reply, make my legal argument, and then Attorney Adams would get one last argument based on my argument.
All right, let's do it that way. Mr. Adams, how much time you need to put your closing argument together?
It won't, I mean, 5 minutes, Your Honor. I mean,
In written form?
pardon me?
In written form?
I'm sorry, the verbal closing or what Attorney Benson is asking for?
Mr. Benson's asking.
Oh, yeah, it would, I mean, I believe, Your Honor, we could have something drafted in a week's time and submitted to the court. And I mean, the only point of clarification that I want to provide to the court is that, I mean, the reason why there's a difference in the amount that's been identified in the NIGC documents that have become public, and then the case that the tribe is putting on, is that we've declared, more checks that were expended on Miss Emery's behalf than what the NIGC, identified. So, I mean, we're not, the tribe as a sovereign we're not restricted to what, to only the amounts that were identified in the NIGC pleadings. But we can make those arguments and those distinctions in the filing, and we can have, something together to be submitted to the court. If you could give us a week, we can get that together with a detailed spreadsheet.
And Your Honor, I wasn't implying they couldn't ask for more than what was in the NIGC. Just a matter of convenience and crunching numbers to have it in a written format.
Understood. Mr. Benson, how long will it take you to respond?
I would ask for 7 to 10 days, Your Honor.
Well, Your Honor, if Attorney Benson's going to get 10 days, then I want 10 days.
No, that's fine. I'm not saying you said a week. You can have 10 days. I have no objection to that. I'm just.
So, Mr. Adams, after you get Mr. Benson's response, how much time will you need to get your final document to the court?
If I could have 5 days, Your Honor.
You could have 10 if you wanted.
All right. Mr. Adams, have it to the clerk by noon on Tuesday, the 25th.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Benson, Have your response to the clerk. By noon on June 1st. June 1st is a Tuesday. Mr. Adams, I want your final document to the court by the end of business, which is going to be noon on June 4th.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's a Friday. Okay. The court, after I get those documents, I will have an order no more than 30 days out from the date that I get those, the final brief response, or the final closing argument response. Unless you guys are looking for some post-trial relief or some more discussion about it. But I would intend to have that within 30 days. It's probably going to be less, but I'm going to put 30 days on the table. Is there anything else you need to discuss today?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Adams?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. All right, you guys, court's adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thanks, Katie.